You just financed a $1,500 iPhone at 24% APR so you can text an ex who leaves you on read, all while ignoring a call from your student loan provider. Welcome back, future millionaires, and everyone currently using girl math to justify a $7 iced water. I'm Lexa, and today we're ripping the Band-Aid off the American dream. Here's a fun little reality check. The rich look incredibly boring, and you're being tricked into staying poor. We've been brainwashed by Instagram to believe that wealth equals head-to-toe Gucci and a 30-year mortgage on a suburban McMansion. But spoiler alert, that's not wealth. That's just being highly leveraged. Today, we're doing a deep dive into the psychology of people who act poor when they are actually loaded and why pretending to be broke is literally the wealthiest thing you can do. Let's talk about the etiquette of money and the subtle language of the upper class. If you think being rich means screaming about your money, you are painfully middle class. Real wealth doesn't need a billboard. Why do the ultra-wealthy avoid looking rich? Because they don't have to prove anything to random NPCs at the grocery store. There's a massive psychological shift that happens when your net worth actually hits $1 million. You stop caring. You realize that buying liabilities to impress people you secretly hate is the ultimate loser's game. While you're out here dropping your paycheck on shiny assets, rich people never buy, and the poor always do. Actual millionaires are doing the opposite. They understand that the suburban trap and the pressure to keep up with the Joneses are just the golden handcuffs of the middle class. They'd rather have an 832 credit score and total freedom than a leased Mercedes and a panic attack every time the rent is due. So, how do you spot an actual secret millionaire if they look like they just rolled out of a dumpster? There are subtle signs someone is secretly wealthy, and none of them involve designer belts. First of all, they weaponize real estate. Have you ever heard of the wealth secret hiding in plain sight? It's the ugly house. Real millionaires will buy the absolute worst house in the best possible neighborhood. Why? Because it's an appreciating asset, not a status symbol. They don't want the giant house with the HOA fees that force you to work a corporate job you hate until you're 65. Second, the wealthy don't trade time for money. When you reach a certain level, you realize your 401k is not enough, and relying on one income is a joke. Real wealth is built on quiet businesses that no one pays attention to. I'm talking about laundromats, car washes, and boring index funds. Your investment income eventually outgrows your day job income, and suddenly you don't have to laugh at your boss's terrible jokes anymore. That is true luxury. Now, listen to me very carefully, because this is the most important part. If you actually listen to this channel, stop making poor decisions, and finally save up some serious cash, there is one rule you must follow to survive. When you get rich, act like you are poor and tell absolutely no one. Why? Because the moment you cross certain net worth levels, people lose their minds. And it's not just your weird cousin who suddenly needs seed money for a crypto startup. The entire financial system shifts. There are wealth levels where banks finally start treating you differently. When you hit those tipping points, money starts doing the heavy lifting, and suddenly institutions want to offer you ridiculous perks just for breathing. But the IRS also starts watching you closely. And the people around you, they start seeing you as an ATM. So, stay in your boring clothes, drive your 10-year-old Toyota, keep your mouth shut, and let the compound interest do its thing. All right, let's wrap this up before my iced coffee gets completely watered down, or I get a permanent migraine from thinking about other people's credit card debt. Look, building wealth isn't about looking like you just walked off a runway. It's about making sure your money actually makes more money while you sleep. Stop confusing a high salary with actual wealth. Because let's be honest, the difference between having a low income and just making terrible life decisions is huge. And the reason you're still broke probably has nothing to do with your paycheck and everything to do with your endless Amazon Prime history and your stubborn refusal to learn what an index fund is. So stay low-key, buy assets, and stop trying to impress people who don't even care about you. I've been Lexa. Hit subscribe, Drop a like and please, send this video to that one friend who just took out a personal loan for a 5-day aesthetic vacation in Tulum. They desperately need an intervention. See you guys next time, whenever compound interest makes us all a little richer.